Yeah, yeah. So that today, Stephen's open, it's open discussion. So if you have a question or update for the group,
Yeah,
fire away.
right now.
Well, let's wait. We usually wait.
Yeah.
It's like remember in college where your professor was you gave him 10 minutes and then you could leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this
There
is
goes that one kid who went and got him at 8 minutes.
Funny. Hey,
Can
Tiger,
you
thanks for the
can you hear
intros,
me
man.
okay? Can you hear me
Yep.
okay without okay, good.
Thanks for a few of the intros lately. They've been fun conversations, and our Bone Chow was lightly attended, but a lot of people looked at
They
the YouTubes after.
Yeah, more people watch it after the fact. I think a lot of people they either watch or listen while they're traveling. I think that's
Yeah. Yeah.
like they
That's
treat it
not,
like a podcast.
apologize if you see a cat jump up. Just had some catnaps running around.
Yeah, Tiger, I treated it like a podcast last week because I was in the middle of a bunch of stuff, but I kind of leered in from the sidelines.
Good. What are you up to, Bob, these days?
Just doing what I can to move our company forward. I'm founder of CornerLoc, and thanks for the mention, by the way, in that recent article a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Um, there is, the one product of ours that you mentioned, the CornerLoc product. That's really our smallest SI product.
Okay.
Um, that's only about 5% of what we do.
Got it. Yeah, it's so hard to I know I made mistakes with that article, but because I think it's listed 33 SI.
There's a bunch, but yeah, when you get some time, let's hook up and I can give you kind of give you the latest on where we're at with our different systems and
Yeah,
kind of
we'll
what we're
do.
doing. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, Colleen's in the background. Kyle, Kyle somewhere. There he is. Well, the only thing I want to talk about today is Mirrors. The Mirrors announcement is a mind blower. But what else? But I know Eric's got something, and probably Steven's probably got an update for us. Um, any whoever's got a burning question or update, jump in.
Well, I can kick it off there. We've again, thank you for the last time we were on Bone Chat. It was pretty exciting, but since then we've really enhanced our Rep GPT concept even more. Better distributor search. We've now trained it on 1,000 different distributor profiles. And now there's 6 different areas of your LinkedIn profile that's now searchable on it, which is really, really
Wow.
exciting. So keyword search is even better. But what's even more exciting is, say you are on LinkedIn and you see a distributor that you're trying to build out, or even if you're recruiting, you can just take that LinkedIn URL now, and we'll do a live search and pull for contact, most recent contact info. So really, really trying to expand out each week of just making it an easier to use and better search capabilities.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
keep just man, the most important thing you do right now, Stephen, is just listen to your customers.
Yeah.
Just ask them for brutal feedback every day and
Yeah.
and probably if I were in your shoes, I would ask a customer to share their screen and just when they click and when they get stuck and why did you get stuck there and or record it. Those are so valuable.
Yeah. What's fun and challenging is we've got a couple European companies now, and I gave them my cell phone number so you can very early text. But it's all been fun.
Yeah.
It's really been helpful. And when the best part is everyone's saying they're seeing value on search one, and that's really what we set out to do, and that's really been helpful.
Yeah, I keep waiting for what's the AI play. There's going to be lots of AI plays in orthopedics and spine, but what are they? And you've found a chord already.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I got this incredible email from Polsia, Polsia, a couple weeks ago, and it's a one-person company, and they literally they scrub you on the internet. They know everything about you and all your businesses, and they say, "What do you need? We'll build it for you in 1 week, and it's only $49 a month to use.
Yeah.
Your own CRM, your own whatever." And so I was like, "Wow!" And the guy just nailed it based on. I was like, "This guy already knows me." Well, it was his agent doing it.
Yeah.
And then I got another update a week ago. This guy's doing one person with a bunch of agents. He's doing 10 million a year in sales, and he just raised $30 million. He didn't even his agent raised the money. He didn't do anything. I mean, his agent went out. He said zero meetings, zero travel. I just raised $30 million at like a $200 million valuation.
It's
I mean,
wild.
all he's doing is just creating custom software for businesses. That's all he's doing.
I think the smaller companies are going to be the ones that set other companies up for success because you don't have to pass on a ridiculous $50,000 or $500,000 subscription, and you can build a custom tool that works within that company's workflow. And I
Yeah,
think so many times larger companies say, "Well, you have to adopt to our workflows," but the smaller ones can adopt to your workflows, and I think that's a key differentiator, not just for us, but for any small company like you just mentioned. You've got to
yeah,
figure out where the pain points are for your customers. And now there's no excuse to not build within their workflows.
right. It's the analogy is I've heard people talk about Salesforce is awesome, but it doesn't customize to your needs. You have to fit your business
Right.
into Salesforce. Well, now it's just flipped on its head where
Yeah.
these AIs will build something exactly for you only. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's also interesting to see also the lack of adoption still in AI uses, or there's a lot of AI slop products coming out now. So you've got to be a
Yeah.
little bit hesitant of what you adopt as well. So
I think the small businesses are where you'll find the most traction, Stephen.
yeah, yeah,
Well, thanks.
definitely.
Oh, here comes Patrick. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, thanks for giving us the platform.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Bob or Eric, jump in.
Bob, go ahead.
Well, I'm kind of new here. I got invited a couple of weeks ago, and enjoyed talking about the NAS opportunity, and then followed by the Hansel tracking stuff, and that I listened into last week. So this is my third week listening in, and so relative newcomer, but it's great to be able to hear ideas from other guys that are out there, you know, in the trenches trying to make things happen. So just very glad to be here for that.
You have any burning needs or questions?
We've been working on raising money. We're a smaller SI joint fusion company. And we have reached that $10 million mark, but that's a little too small for some investors.
Yeah,
They're looking for someone that's at 30 or more. And so we're working on that. We've got a handful of projects that we want to get going on, but we're waiting for that fuel to make it happen. And
yeah,
that's where we are right now.
Hey,
But
oh,
I think we're doing a lot of the right things that can be a little bit expensive, and so we got to limit our projects until we get the other money in. We're doing clinical data. We have a clinical trial that we're doing. We've published already the 6-month data on our lateral oblique SI screw system. We published that in Pain Physician in December, and great results there. And we'll have our 12-month data wrapped up by the end of July, and hope to be able to get that published by the end of this year. So
So what? So I have strong opinions on clinical data. Is the clinical data for regulatory purposes or VAC committees or surgeon adoption? What's it for?
it's for a number of things. Not it's not for the FDA. I mean, we already have a 510(k) and whatnot, but VAC committees, it does help convince sometimes in those situations, but really it's for coverage at this point, with payers.
Got it. That's
There's,
that.
as you mentioned in your article yesterday or the day before, there's a lot of players in this market, and 99% of them don't have any data. Well, not 99%,
Yeah.
90%. There's a couple of us that have data, and so I think that's who the payers are going to be comfortable with justifying, and they're going to try to limit others who don't have data. So I'd say
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest, and the physicians like to see that you are dedicated to gathering data, and but that's really not the end all be all for them. They want to know that it's effective, of course, but they also want things like ease of use, and makes
They
sense.
want to be,
It's got to make sense for them. So
they want a wide patient population and they want to be able to do procedures faster. I mean,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
interesting.
So, and we've been able to accomplish that. Our system is extremely simple, extremely safe. Our clinical results through the study, in terms of safety, and absence of adverse events is stellar. So
Good.
we're able to answer those questions well, I think, with our
So,
data.
Stephen,
Bob, just I heard your fundraising needs. Just gave you a free month on our investor platform. You can search for any investor globally and
Oh,
get contact or there's about
thank you,
1,500
Stu.
firms on there. So it's good to do a little research on there. There's new angel firms specifically that pop up every week that we add on. So we've got 120 that we're adding this week. So just wanted to give you 30 days on that one to play around with.
This invite code that you posted up there on the
yeah,
Yes.
comments,
yeah,
Yep.
perfect.
Backend.ai. It's like a matchmaking for MedTech companies and investors.
Yep.
It's a it's like a dating
Excellent.
app.
And if you want to run due diligence on your competitors, you can see what they've raised and what their clinical due diligence looks like as well. So it'll allow you to build a full report out on that.
Oh, cool. Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you missed Stephen was on maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. I've forgotten now, but yeah, it's and his platforms just get better every week because there's more users, there's more companies in the system, there's more reps, there's more everything.
We
Yeah.
just don't
Tiger,
sleep
do you
either.
record these for later playback? Is that
Oh
something I
yeah,
can go and watch
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
that episode?
Yeah, so there's two ways. We either, if it's a public discussion, I just record it and put it on YouTube, and sometimes we go dark if there's like we've had people that wanted a review of their company deck for raising money, and yes, there's some sensitive stuff in there,
Hmm.
or sometimes you want to talk about a competitor or patent, so we can just I can I can just hit the switch anytime and we can go dark. So that's always available.
Okay,
And Bob, I'm happy to give you a walkthrough of any of them need be.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So Steve, you don't mind if I use that as well, do you?
No,
Make
go
it
for this
funny.
for everybody on the call. Go for it.
Good. I just
Yep.
didn't want to surprise you.
No, go for it.
Thanks.
Also, let me
Don't hog up my discount code.
If you guys need early adopter physicians, you get anyone that signs up on this one too. It gets you free 3 days as well. So play around with that one as well if you need to.
Great. Great, great. Well, Tiger, the question I had, we've talked on here previously about what meetings are worthwhile anymore, which are good and which aren't, and I have a question on one that's coming up. And you guys know I work for a small startup that has a cervical disc. We're selling in several countries in Europe and South America, and we have IDE going on in the US. That really has just started. So I'm trying to figure out what meetings are worth going to since I can't really advertise in the US and
Yeah.
so I don't know how important it is to keep our name out there right now. But the meeting that's coming up is the Seattle Science Foundation one that they put on every year. It's Advances in Motion Preservation of the Spine.
Hmm.
And they have small booths, tabletop booths. But they also have a good hands-on, didactic sessions, I guess, that Jens Chapman and Dr. Ziegler from TBI are going to do. So I'm trying to figure out whether it's worth going to, and which ones might be worth going to if this one isn't, or or should I be doing that at all based on where we are right now?
I think you got to start with what's the goal of the meeting? Do you want
Mhm.
exposure? Do you want leads? Do you want to find distributors? Do you want to, whatever? And you got to sort of start from that premise.
Well, and that's the part that's actually not really well defined for me, I guess. Um, I would say it's just keeping our name out there. Um, our marketing goes to European and South America. Um, but I don't need to market in the US. But it'd be nice that people keep track of us and you know maybe an investor you know see us at one of these things or something.
I don't know. I'd probably take the money. I mean, what's it going to cost? $2,000 or $3,000 probably to
Yeah, I think for this one it's like 4K.
4K. I'd
It's
probably put that in social media and just blast South America and Europe with that.
mhm.
You could do a lot of postings for 4,000 or start a newsletter or, start a Spanish
Yeah.
newsletter. I mean, I would the there's I don't know. you know, what are your thoughts, Kyle? Kyle, you're smart at this stuff.
You're you're in the business of trying to land doctors that use your product, right?
Well, not so much in the US because we're just starting an IDE trial, and we have plenty of doctors who want to join that. Um, Most of our marketing type stuff is European or South American. So that's why I'm wondering, hey, are these US meetings, even these nice intimate ones like this that are nice and small, you get to really talk to surgeons on it, whether that's worthwhile or not.
I haven't heard of a whole lot of good reasons to be at these meetings from an industry perspective in a while.
That's why I
It can
asked the
be.
question. Yeah.
I mean,
They
there's
cost a lot of
relationship.
money.
Yeah, I mean, you can make connections, you can build relationships, you might find some leads, but it's lightning striking when you do, I think largely. Uh, there's probably an element of presence of mind that needs to be thought through depending on your size and position. But for startups, man, I guess let's put it this way, that the couple times that I've been to Academy, as an example, when I'm not part of a gigantic company that's just sending, armies of people, it's been with an extremely detailed plan of why to go.
Mm.
Exact appointments, exact targets, pre-planning of who, warm introductions, all of that to where it was crystal clear. I've got 8 appointments that are going to happen that are confirmed. Sure, that justifies $1,000 on flights and hotels, and it justifies a couple $1,000s on our tickets. Let's give it a shot. That's the best I got.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that.
Second that for sure.
yeah.
I
That
third
was
that.
my thinking as well. But just like the rest of you guys, I grew up going to these meetings,
The
not really
world.
questioning whether it's worth it or not.
Yeah.
Um, Now I have to question those things.
Yeah, we're very active, Eric, in going to meetings. We go to at least one a month in the interventional space, interventional pain space, and then we also are in spine and ortho space as well. So we go to NAS and Ipsis, and so they cost a lot of money. We almost kind of have to be there, with our company because for my competitors that aren't there, everyone wonders, oh well, why aren't they here? Are they out of business
Yeah.
that they can't afford to come to meetings? That kind of thing. So we try to make the most of it, try to be efficient, with how many people we have attend, and it's not, like I think Kyle said, it's not just the cost of the booth or a tag to go in without a booth. It's air flights and hotel and you know, and then if you wine and dine any doctors and all that, so that adds up pretty quickly. But and so if we can get 3 solid leads at a meeting, it pays for it. And so we feel like we kind of have to be at certain ones, and there's certain ones where we've attended, and it's kind of a loser for us. Seattle Science Foundation. We've been to, I think, 4 of those. A couple have been great, and a couple have been dogs for us. So I can't recommend, I can't recommend for or against on that.
Yeah. Well, that all makes sense. I mean, that's in line with, the doubts I had in my own mind. Um, yeah. And like Kyle was saying, the ones that we've been to, we go to NAS each year, but it's because we have a full agenda of meetings. It's not there to be at NAS. It's because everyone's
Right,
there at the same time.
right.
Okay, cool. No, I
Let me
appreciate the
let
input.
me finish up by saying you should probably reach out to Mark Maloney. He uses a incredibly efficient social media group out of Ukraine they'll do targeted postings for you for like $1,000 a month. You could get 4 months worth of South American, European content for going to
Yeah,
one meeting in Seattle. Yeah. Talk to
great.
Maloney. Talk to Maloney about that group.
Eric,
Cool.
I'm not familiar with your product, so forgive me for that. Is it
Oh,
is it it's a spine mobility product?
yeah, it's a cervical disc. Um, and the I guess the innovative part of it, it's made out of man-made diamond, such that
Okay.
there's no wear debris whatsoever. Um, so
What's
that
the name of your
disc,
company? Is it
hmm,
Yeah.
Omnicron or something?
Dimacron.
Diamond.
Dimacron?
I'm putting I put the URL in the chat, Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, thank you.
And
Yeah,
the
it's
thing's been working really well. So, we're really hopeful, but we just started our IDE too, but we don't have money to expand it much yet. And so
Yeah.
we,
So with
we
that
might have a
material, you
lag.
need to do an IDE to satisfy the FDA because it hasn't been used, that material.
Oh yeah, the cervical discs all need an IDE.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool, great.
all right,
Thank you.
Kyle, and then Stephen.
So, Tyler, you can punt this if you want, if you'd rather save this for another time or for the end. But I was curious on the recruiting and placement front, have you noticed any trend changes or any momentum swings or anything noteworthy that are giving you an indication of something being different?
Yes. The macro trend is it's because of the difficulty in funding. Is people are delaying hiring, and if that's just across the board, everybody's delaying hiring, and I think it's because of interest rates and raising money and trying to do more with less people. The second thing is if a small company is commercial already, they are investing in sales only. I see that all the time. I mean, I get calls, hey, we're trying to span the country now. We need regionals. And, we don't need another engineer. We don't need another quality person. We don't need another marketing person. It's all about sales. So those are the two trends that I see. Um, Delayed hiring and increased sales hiring for commercial companies.
Hmm.
And what about is there a different trend for pre-commercial?
Pre-commercials they're just doing with whoever they have. It's money. It not only is fundraising hard, but it's not. There's no certainty. It's you don't know if or you may have a short runway, and you don't know if you're ever going to get money again. And so they're just not hiring, or they're hiring some consultants, some 1099s that you can quickly get rid of. They're more fractional. There's more fractional hirings. I see C-level and marketing hires and come in for 6 months or 12 months for a fixed price and then they disappear. I've seen that.
Hmm.
How does that work? Like, does that seem to be a worthwhile, valuable thing in both directions?
Yeah. Well, I mean, man, you got me going now. So I think the companies of the future in MedTech and ortho and spine are people will come together five or 10 people that don't even know each other will come together. They'll build a product. And then once the product goes to the FDA and there's a Salesforce where they just disappear. They'll come together, do a lot of good work, and then disappear again. I think everybody's going to be a free agent in the future. I think everybody's going to be a 1099, and you'll join a company maybe for 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, do your thing. You'll get some equity. You'll knock out milestones, and you'll go somewhere else. But I don't think I just see that's the future. It's definitely a future in tech, and it's going to come to devices. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, so you just come in as a 1099 and share your knowledge and trade it for some equity and whatever. Yeah, I've seen that, and I think that could be a trend. I think you're right about that.
Because I mean, the reality, Kyle, if you like, say you need a go-to-market plan and you need a sophisticated marketing person, well, they come in, they'll build your go-to-marketing plan 9 months before launch, and then you don't really need them anymore, you know, and or your
Yeah.
regulatory person comes in, regulatory person gets you through tough times, with the FDA, and then they disappear. Quality or clinical. You need a clinical design study person,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and then you need a clinical data collection person, and then you need a statistician on the back end. Those are three different people.
Keep going. You
Yeah.
don't have to stop there, right? That applies to quality engineers. You don't need them at phase 0. You
Yep.
need them as you're moving from phase 2 into phase 3 and prepping for launch. Afterwards, they need to be on to the next project because they've done their part.
Totally agree.
Project managers, project leads, you need them from inception to the point of it's past the FDA and then let it move into production. However, the trick will be is there's got to be glue that puts all those pieces together and knows that they're doing it right. And that means that the company has to have that as a part of continuity, doesn't it?
Yeah, the CEO, the company, these organizations are flat, so everybody reports to the CEO or maybe a couple of VPs, and that's it. Um, no, you're totally right. I mean, think back of when we all used to drive to a building and, and sit there every day, and it's like, I remember walking around Smith and Nephew like I was there in the late '80s, and we had this saying that you could fire a third of the people and nothing would change. Nobody would even know they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have an engineering department. I do a lot of the design work myself, and then I work with engineers. I outsource this to the guys over at Spytrex. I don't know if any of you guys do any work with them. They do, and they do our 3D printing of our titanium implants.
Hmm.
Um, but there's no reason for me to have engineers, 2 or 3 engineers that I'm paying a salary to. We finish this project up, and then okay, now I got to find something for them to do. Um, there's no reason for that, and so I outsource that piece.
Perfect
Yeah,
example. That's a great example. The other thing that I see people make mistakes is they hire a consultant based on hours, and I'd like to see companies hire based on milestones. So,
yeah,
you give an engineer, okay, I need the design or I need to pass this mechanical test by this, and you literally pay them for the milestone. If they get it done early, you pay them more. If they get it done later, you pay them less.
Yeah.
And,
What about any lookouts for, say, you've got a go-to-market strategist that just has always worked at like a striker. So they know like this is the striker solution and they're trying to come and break into that early stage world. And any lookouts there while you're trying to vet your go-to-market consultants on that?
well, I mean, I'm biased, but if you've been at Stryker for a long time, you're completely useless. I mean, you are dead weight because you only know their system. You don't
yeah,
know how startups are hard,
Yeah.
and you got to wear a lot more hats, and there's no resources. Startups are hard.
Yeah. You just,
Stryker, yeah, people from Stryker, Zimmer, Smith and Nephew. If you've been there 10 years, 20 years, you are completely useless.
yeah. You just see so many of them right now, especially when you kind of look around the MedTech incubator radar program. You're like, wait, each one of these people is a judge, but they've all been at Smith and Nephew or Stryker or J&J for the past 15 years. And well, what hat have you worn other than just the marketing head? You haven't been in the trenches anytime recently with limited budget. So yeah,
Yeah,
curious.
Hey Steve, I don't
exactly.
know if can you hear me or
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
can
can
hear
hear you,
you.
oh
Patrick.
good
Yeah.
yeah sorry Pat here yeah so I just echoing Tiger's view I run field orthopedics and probably the worst hires I've made and I continue to do that. I just had another one just from big corporate and they tell you all the right things, how excited they are. They fantasize about being in a startup, right? How it's going to be fun, how it's going to be, value creation, equity, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And then they're 3 months in the job and they just cannot keep up with the pace. They just can't. And then it's really hard to coach as well because it's almost impossible to coach, right? So it is, and I find it super super difficult to hire for as well. Like, it's very hard to ask the right question and filter out, who has the DNA
Hmm.
and as Tiger said, rightfully, right? A startup is hard. And every time you think you're there, you got another headwind that you didn't expect and you just got to pivot. And it's just, yeah, it's not everybody's cup of tea. I find that is really hard. And it's at all levels, regional sales manager level, marketing level, VP marketing level, clinical evidence generation. It's actually and unfortunately we're in this phase now where, we're trying to scale and it's actually becomes a huge risk because I don't have 2 rounds of opportunities to hire people, right?
Yeah.
If I go wrong, with 1 or 2 people, I pretty much lose half the year, if not a full year.
Yeah.
So it's something that I continue to underestimate, to be honest. I find that one of the hardest. I thought I've seen it all after 4 years now. It's just another level of damn, how did I not see this, right? So that's just my 2 cents too, Steve. So and I would definitely just because somebody was a VP at Stryker or Johnson Johnson, that kind of means nothing, to be honest. So
Yeah. I appreciate the insight. Thank you. Good luck on
Uh,
yours.
yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I guess I want to add is I suppose it is possible to find some people that could come in and be rock stars in the startup world out of the big companies, but it's going to be hidden in the corner, right? It's not going to be someone that's some director of hips at Zimmer Biomet and has been there for 27 years. It's going to be someone that is in the customs department for the past 4 years that was a college athlete that just has this moxie about him in spite of having been in big ortho. But if you're trying to grab, senior marketing manager that's been at J&J for 22 years and that's all they've ever known, man, the moment you show them something that just has a slightly different wording to it, it's hard to adapt. And it's not a character flaw. That's just an experience difference.
So,
Well,
so, so Kyle, I came out of J&J Smith and Nephew, Abbott world. So I was there 15, 20 years, right? Probably 10 years too early. So yes, it can work, right? But
Yeah.
I have to say the last 5 years has been a huge journey about myself as well. Learning, the word stamina and resilience has been redefined for me, right? So it's okay, right? So it's possible, but then I don't think everybody's going to be as crazy as I am, right? So and that's just I kind of call that out because it is a little bit crazy, right? You're leaving behind, the kind of the comfort zone, and so absolutely it can work, right? So right now we've just looked at hiring 2 more regionals and. I just said unless you must have had some kind of exit experience or come from a company that has gone through through the motions of scaling a business. So that those were my 2 criteria. So and I found 2 people that did that, right? So otherwise it's impossible. Yeah, I just don't have time and yeah, and the luxury to get it wrong.
yeah. The fundamental thing that I've seen looking at this for decades is the big companies breed out entrepreneurs. They don't want them there. So they if there's a nail sticking up, they get hammered down. They either get put in a closet somewhere or they get fired. And in a startup, it's the opposite. You want the entrepreneurs, you want the people that are taking chances. They're scrappy, they hustle, they don't need a lot of resources. So it's just it's like Mars and Venus. It's so different.
So I just made that mistake bigly. I mean, I overachieved at that mistake recently. Um, and the resume was perfect, all of that. But the personality wasn't there. I mean, and I don't know how to find that though. I don't know what I did wrong. So is there something that you guys do to other
So
than making sure they're from a startup? Is there any
yeah,
other
so the
tricks?
litmus test I do, Eric, is I tell them to go back to their childhood. Tell me how you grew up. You know what, or do you, and I don't, what I want to see is somebody that had struggles. You know, I want to see somebody that paid their way through college, worked through college. I want to see somebody that started a business when they were a teenager. You know, whatever it was, mowing lawns or anything. That's what I want to see.
Mhm.
Uh, and you can find it. You got to find the entrepreneurial pilot light in the person's somehow. It's um, yeah, don't look at the resumes, just throw it out. Give them problems to
Yeah.
solve. That's another thing. Give them assignments. Say, you know, I'm not going to interview you, but here, you know, give me your best shot at this assignment. And if they're not willing to do that, like most people will self-eliminate because they don't want to do a lot of work just to earn an interview.
Question
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
navigating those early, like we're four people in our company, and we have people approaching us all the time for consulting work, trying to navigate to try to get some type of equity play out of it, which we've been really, hesitant to do at all. We'd rather pay them, maybe on like a cash compensation or even like compensation via equity based of certain milestones. How do you go about properly navigating those conversations? Everyone will say, well, I have the network, I have this, I have that. But when it comes down to it, it's we're technology play. We're no longer a device, and everyone that's talking to us is in the device space. Very different sell, very different conversations. And a lot of them don't pan out.
Yeah, you're talking about consultants, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just always pay consultants on milestones. Don't pay them for their time. You end up with it's like attorneys. You know, they're billing you by the hour. They don't really care. They're not trying to solve your problem. They're just trying to earn more hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give them pay them per milestone.
Yeah.
That's how you separate the good uh, consultants from the bad ones, in my opinion. But
Yeah, and if you can make that person a consultant and not an employee, if you hire them as an employee, you're kind of stuck with them until you go through a process of eliminating them if they don't work out. And whether or not they have performed yet, you got to pay them.
Yeah.
And if you've used a recruiter, you've got the expense of the hire to overcome plus training and all that stuff. Um, we have a hybrid sales force. So we have some employee reps and also some distributors. And the distributor model actually works really well for us because we don't have to pay them until they actually sell something.
Yeah.
And so that works really well. If I actually hire an employee rep, I've got to be darn sure they're going to put some sales on on the table and more than pay for their salary. Otherwise, I've wasted a whole lot of time and money and energy training them. So I think sometimes a consultant situation with milestones like Tiger said, uh, you're not stuck with having to pay salary and benefits for someone that's
Yeah.
not going to perform.
so let me tell you the Ellipse story because when I went to Ellipse in 2012, they did everything differently, and most of the things they did worked. And one of the things they did was everybody came into the company as a consultant. The CEO, Ed Roshak, came in as a consultant. All the VPs. I came in as a vice president of R&D as a consultant, and it was like a 1 to 3 month dating, basically. And what it did was the company was so hard, it was so fast moving that they realized most people couldn't hang at the company.
Mhm.
And so it was a try before you buy strategy, and it really worked. Um, the people that made it end up being great employees and leaders, but a lot of people. I mean, I'll never forget. We hired a director of quality as a consultant. He got us through the first FDA audit. The day after we got through the audit, he resigned. He said, "I can't keep up this pace. You know, good luck, guys." He goes, "I can't do this."
It's not for everybody.
No.
No, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I worked in the '90s for Biomet, in the early
Vain.
2000s for yeah, and in the early 2000s for Johnson and Johnson with the Pew spine, and the big corporate thing just wasn't for me. I didn't quite fit. Um, I was the round peg in the square hole, or whatever. Um, Not that I did a poor job or anything. I was successful, but just some of the corporate, big
Yep.
corporate nonsense, was hard for me to work with. And so, kind of by necessity, I had to become an entrepreneur. And I was entrepreneurial, like you said, even as a teenager. You know, I set
There
up
you go.
I set up lawn accounts and snow shoveling accounts because I grew up in northern Minnesota, and I had customers and this and that. I mean, you just either you have that desire or you don't. And so, if you're gonna start a business, and especially a medical device business, which has a lot of moving parts and a lot of regulatory, overburden that you got to bear with and deal with, plus coding to get reimbursement and actually get paid and all of those things. I mean, there's just so many different moving parts, and you have to be willing to wear a lot of different hats until you can hire someone to take a hat. So,
There you
At
go.
what point do you hire someone to take one of those hats away? I don't know about, I'm so into ours. I'm like, do I need to hire someone, or can I stay up for 20 hours straight and just get the coding done?
right. Well, because no one can do it like you can, Stephen.
Or I don't know, there's more
That's
smarter than the craziness of the speed of saying this has to be done by tomorrow. We're gonna get it done and we're gonna figure it
yeah.
out. I guess that's the question. I always come back to. At what point do you take that away from yourself?
Yeah, when your hair starts to turn white, uh, or or you can't sleep, uh, you've got to look out for yourself and take care of your health. Uh,
Yeah.
and if you're married or have kids, you've got to take care of your family. So if you're eating into those things, you've got to bring someone alongside that you can trust and uh, to offload some of those things. And that's hard for me to delegate,
Mhm.
because I like to do things my way. But so that's been a big part of my growing up over the years, and I still haven't grown up yet. But um, it's being able to hand stuff off to people and say, okay, however you're doing it is going to be good enough,
Yeah.
because
Hey,
you got to do it.
some thoughts here, right? It's interesting. So we pivoted from a series to a B series, right? And we're trying to scale our business from what is 8 to 10 million to now 30 million. And you we're also dealing with one of the best VC firms in the US. And what I thought I could just do myself and carry, it's not working, right? So this whole notion of you can do it yourself, and just because you can do it yourself and it worked because it worked the last 3 years, that hypothesis has crashed on me big time.
So yeah,
And again, and it's not, I'm not, it took me 3 months to figure this out very quickly, right? But I'm learning on the go here as well. So this whole notion of you can do it yourself is be careful there, particularly when you scale. I think it's easy when you're pre-market, you're on the market, you validating your product market fit, you're getting your first revenue, right? Then you're sort of planning for the next step. But we're now at a stage where, and I can actually appreciate why so many companies disappear, because they cannot make that transition from 4 or 5 million to suddenly 15, 20, 30, because that scaling is
Mhm.
hard, man. And then you rely on good people because you suddenly realize you can't be everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is a comment and a question. Maybe Tiger can give me some wisdom here, but man, it is, and I'm not surprised why so many companies just disappear when they go into B series. They suddenly are in a dead end, right? Because they feel like they need to scale, they need to hire all these people, but maybe they overhire. But then you do need to hire. So where is that balance? We're playing with a lot of like sort of OpEx sales ratios right now, benchmarking us against other organizations, what that journey looks like over 3 or 4 years, right? But yeah, it's a whole new chapter now. It's interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, I forgot who said it. There's a rule of threes. So every time your company grows by 3x, and that could be employees like 3 to 10 employees, 10 to 30 employees, or it could be revenue, you have to reevaluate all your systems every 3x. And because it just things that used to work don't work anymore. And yeah, that's I forgot who wrote that, but it was a startup book. But um, I really think that's the rule of threes is kind of interesting. The other thing is there's three seasons in a startup. There's the founder invention season, and then there's the getting it to market, making sure you have the right product. And then there's once you've got everything, and then there's the scaling, and where you just pour more fuel onto the fire because you know what you're doing. Um, so Patrick's probably in the second season right now where the products work, you got a pipeline, and we're just trying to build systems for the first time to scale.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, definitely, we're definitely in systems, but it's still, you can't just be working on systems. You also
Yeah.
got to be still in the ground, right? So and it's finding that balance at a speed that you expect as a startup, right? You want everything happening overnight. So definitely there is, and then you have new shareholders, you have new expectations. They expect the growth to be at the same pace that when they invested into you. And I find the transition. So if I would have my way again, I would definitely forecast my revenue a little bit slower and flatter. So almost like a little bit a flat to dip to then scale again, because that transition you need 6 months to get the team right, to get the processes right, and to get the velocity and the flywheel right. Even somebody spoke earlier about evidence generation, and it is I think it's number 2 or 3 on the to-do list for my VC. Like, you need to have evidence, and it's for all of the above. I think you guys spoke about VAX. You talked about reimbursement, but it's even um, for future exits, right? They refer to it as future currency. So if you don't have clinical evidence, eventually it's going to be meaningless to a Stryker or a Smith and Nephew when the day comes where they're trying to acquire you. So there's a lot to do there. It's exciting, right? But yeah, then you bring on new people and they do your head in because they just don't get it, right? And yeah, it's exciting times here at Feel Orthopedics. Definitely, just when I thought I had it all figured out, cashed up, and ready to go, it's just like, what the hell? Just getting punched in the face again, just like a couple of years ago where we turned it around, figured it out, right? But yeah, we'll win, but yeah, it takes time. It's just crazy.
Yeah, Patrick, going back to your question about sorry, someone's just texting me here. Um, it's kind of a chicken and egg thing on the timing. Sometimes you've got to hire somebody before you have the revenue so that you can get the revenue to hire somebody. so it's kind of a circular situation. But, you know, and when is the time that you can pass a hat off? Um, you know, I try to look at, if I'm starting to deal with in orthopedics, and I don't know exactly what your product profile is, but there's always urgent stuff that pops up, and you can't let the urgent stuff eat up your time. You need to have people to handle the urgent stuff so you can handle the important stuff. That's kind of that Franklin Planner ideology.
Stephen Covey, yeah.
Covey, yeah. Um, so, you know, once enough urgent things are popping up on a daily basis, you've got to have somebody to take care of that stuff and delegate that stuff away from
Mm.
you so you can focus on the important stuff and lay those bricks every day that need to be laid to build what you're building.
Focus, you're sort of swerving into focus. I think focus is what makes great startups. They just and lack of focus is what kills companies. Yeah, you can't be distracted by all the noise. At Ellipse, we had it was, go back to Ellipse again. We basically had a list of 30 projects, and the CEO would basically every couple of weeks would say, okay, here's the top three projects. You have to work on these top three projects. If anybody's working below the line on number three, you're fired. And it was really that, and it really clarified things. Uh, then we would knock off one, two, or three, and then we'd add something to the list. But that focus is so important.
Mm.
Patrick,
Yeah.
up on your website right now, sorry to kind of, this Griplasty is well marketed. I mean, well, this is some phenomenal stuff. Is this direct sales, 1099? Kind of what is the go market on here? Sorry to derail any of that.
Yeah, our focus is building a premier orthopedic hand organization. So probably one of the last frontiers that has been neglected, right? I tell people we are where foot and ankle was 10 years ago. Nobody cared, and now look at it today. Interesting how you said about Tiger about refocus, right? So for us, we probably got ahead of ourselves in some areas. So I'm just right down back to the key areas that I know will be attractive from a white space point of view, which are the strategic gaps of the big ortho companies, right? It's leader in finger fractures, so we have a whole ecosystem, and that's both on the material side and the design side, and then all things finger and hand arthritis. That's where Griplasty fits in, and it's now addressing, which again we didn't anticipate, that there's a little bit of pivot towards, or no, it's not a pivot. It's a move where maybe for the first time an actual arthroplasty is being accepted by hand surgeons. So we will always play a relevant role with suspension plasty, grip plasty. But maybe there is what used to be 1%, maybe will become 20% of the market in an arthroplasty. So there is a product that made its way into the market, which is like a mini hip in the hand. It's a whole separate conversation. I think
That's
it's
Carry
a
Medical,
dangerous.
right?
What's that?
That's Carry Medical, right? With MedArtis.
That's right. And I hope nobody, I don't know who,
No, I just know that a dual mobility thumb sounds like a terrible idea. That's what
yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
I'll give you the sophisticated way to bag it. It's kinematically conflicted. So anyway,
Yeah,
so so
I
anyway,
like it.
we're working on something else that will make more sense, but I'll leave it at that. So just focusing on that, there is some opportunity within the PIP. Again, we're looking at silicon implants that are 30 years old. So and then all things soft tissue, right? So those are kind of the three areas we just focus on, to give you a long-winded answer on but Griplasty and the NX Nail are the two flagship products that got us to a point where we created enough interest for a VC firm, right? And use that as a vehicle to build this portfolio. It is now just the art of building the right products with the right team at the right pace, right? So that we see revenue, you know, by the time we hopefully exit within, let's say, 3 to 5 years, right? So this is sort of the fun part, right? And I feel like I've been already in this for 6 years, but it's only been 3 months since we closed the B series, right? So, but yeah, but I actually don't mind, and this is the difference I think between us and the big companies. Like, man, we can make some dramatic course corrections really quickly and be absolutely bold and focused. And I think that's the one thing that hasn't changed. Just because we're now scaling doesn't mean we have to behave like a large corporate. We just have to be relentless as CEOs of startups, right? So that doesn't change really, because I felt like, oh no, and I just gotta be more like I used to be at J&J. But no, actually, you just need to carry on with that rigor and discipline, and remind yourself what made you successful. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
yeah. But but thanks, I appreciate it. So that was we put a lot of effort in that. We've learned. You guys may have heard of lapiplasty.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the I'm like, okay, if lapiplasty can do that in the foot, we call it gripplasty, and sort of try to replicate what they did in the foot, we can do in the hand. That was the inspiration. So I give all credit to Trees, and but they also, they made along the way some they're going also through some challenges right now. So trying to figure out, where the errors were along the way, 4 or 5 years into it. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just be careful. Hand surgeons and podiatrists are very different customers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, great. I agree. So yeah, we just launched, if you look, we just launched our direct to patient website only like a week ago, mythumbpain.com. So it's the first one of its kind for CMC arthritis. So yeah. So we're being super conservative. I think we're spending about $2,000 on ads at the moment, so per month. So we're being, just going very, very slow.
My thumb pain is what it is.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what the team told me. Yeah. My thumb pain. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not up yet.
It's not up yet.
Pat,
Yeah.
how common is CMC arthritis?
Oh,
Gigantic,
number one.
gigantic.
Number
Just
one
the-
arthritis in the world.
Really?
So Bob, the most common thing to fix it though is they simply remove one of your bones.
That's
We're
not
not talking not talking 1932. We're talking 2026, and the most common procedure is to pull one of your bones out.
My
That's
thumb
crazy.
pain, mythumbpain.us. It's
Oh,
there.
there you go.
I'm looking
Oh,
at
my
it right
thumb
now.
pain.us. Sorry.
I mean,
There we go.
one of the things that separates us from the animals is our opposable thumb. I mean, come on.
Yep.
Good point.
Well,
Yeah,
Patrick, I know I'm not the only one that would reflect this. BoneChat is built this way. We're rooting for you. If there's something that you think anybody can help with, as far as pointing you in directions of people to talk to or whatnot, don't be shy.
No, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I can use any help or guidance on this, because I think we have a real opportunity, and we gotta beat those. No, nobody should be putting a hip replacement into a thumb, period. So.
hey, Eric, I've got to sign off here in a minute, but have you ever, do you know Dr. Sudhir Dewan out of Manhattan?
I don't know.
He's an interventionalist, and he is semi-retired from his practice, or maybe fully retired. He is actually a shareholder in my company, but he's huge in interventional pain. He's like the godfather of interventional pain, and he has spent his last 5 or 6 years building programs down in South America. And I texted him when we were first talking and asked him if he knew spine surgeons down there, and he says he knows many spine surgeons down there. So if you'd like an introduction to him, be glad to introduce you to Dr. Dewan. That's mostly what he does now, is goes down there and teaches on interventional procedures and whatnot, and he networks with a lot of spine surgeons and regenerative medicine. He's big in that as well. So
Yeah, that would help. We're definitely growing down there. So we found some good places, but have a lot of runway yet. So that would be great.
Cool.
Excellent.
Well, I love
I,
it.
So
I sent you a connection on LinkedIn. If you want to just connect, and I'll hook you up with Dr. Dewan.
perfect. Great.
That's
Thanks.
I love BoneChat. This is what happens every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to be protective of everybody's time. That's a full hour. This has been really interesting. You never know. I love open discussion days. See you next week.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Thanks,
Tiger, are
everybody.
you
See
available? Can I
Tiger.
call you for 2 minutes quickly?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
Patrick. Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it. Thanks.
everyone.
And Tiger, you said the right thing though. This should be discussion day. The hour is always way too fast. So
That's true.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe
It
once
goes
a year
way
we
quick.
do a real big thing.
We could do that. That's a great idea. I'll broach that with the members. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Bye.